Good morning. I would like to extend a warm welcome on behalf of the organizers, the sponsors, and everyone involved with today's event to welcome you to today's session. My name is Ypong from the Faculty of Education, Chulalongkorn University, and I will be your moderator for the duration of an hour and 15 minutes or so. Now this morning we have heard Dr. Kamonrod Klai talked about what have been done so far to the Thai education, what is next for the educational development in the 21st century, and how to get there through curriculum development. In addition, Mr. Anthony Bashir has addressed how ICT innovation define educational development in the 21st century. Now that's a lot of information to take in this morning. It may be difficult for us to understand. So what is the better way for us to understand it and to expand on our understanding much better than to take a look at the real-world examples. So I am very happy today to have three of the experts in the areas that will come and share with us what they have done so far with the information that we have taken in this morning. First, I would like to introduce Dr. Kasunari Takahashi, the General Manager of the Science Education Division, Okayama University of Science High School. Next is Dr. Han Chiu Wang, the Principal of Hua Chong Institution, the Republic of Singapore. And last but not least, Dr. Arirat Watana Thongpiu, the Director of Badin Desha Singh Singhasani School, Thailand. Not to waste any time, we will start the session with the presentation of the schools by the administrators from Japan, and then Singapore and Thailand in the order. And then after that will be followed by a brief discussion on what has been talked about, and then I will give you guys more time for the question and answers in the end. ต้องปรับโหมดเป็นภาษาไทยนิดนึงนะฮะตอนสุดท้ายนะครับจะมีคำถามนะครับจากคือเราได้ตกลงกันแล้วในระหว่างวิทยากรนะครับว่าอยากจะให้คำถามเนี่ยไม่ใช่เป็นคำถามที่เราเตรียมกันมาก่อนแต่อยากจะให้มาจากท่านผู้ฟังนะฮะเพราะฉะนั้นในระหว่างที่ท่านดู presentation แล้วก็ฟังการบรรยายไปเนี่ยก็อยากจะให้ท่านตั้งคำถามนะฮะอาจจะเขียนใส่ในกระดาษก็ได้แล้วก็ส่งให้กับเจ้าหน้าที่นะครับแล้วเดี๋ยวเจ้าหน้าที่จะรวบรวมคำถามขึ้นมาบนเวทีแล้วผมจะเป็นคนถามให้นะครับเป็นภาษาไทยก็ได้ภาษาอังกฤษก็ได้นะครับไม่ต้องกลัวนะครับว่าจะต้องเป็นภาษาอังกฤษล้วนนะฮะเป็นข้อตกลงกันดังนี้นะครับ so not to waste any time may you begin please
Sawadee Krap, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity of participating those symposium. I'm honored to talk about PISA-style education associating with Thailand's excellent teachers and leaders. I'd like to tell you something about the science education project of Okayama University of Science High School. To begin, I'm working as a biology teacher at the high school and investigating ecology as a Sunday mycologist. The contents of my presentation are following: outline of our school, Japanese education, Super Science High School project, our school and science education, and estimation of SSH project. Our school was established in 1962 under Kake Educational Institute, located in a regional city named Okayama in western Japan. There are about 1,200 students belonging to 10 study courses situated on a hill shared with Okayama University of Science. A brief explanation of educational system in Japan, 6334 system. The government allocates educational and human resources equitably between socio-economically and advantaged and disadvantaged schools. There are several established systems. For example, the textbooks are made based on government guidelines and are provided free in school years. Project for promoting science education. The government has educational concepts for each educational level: elementary, junior, high school, and university. At high school level, the project of Super Science High School, SSH, was planned and has been promoted since 2004. Four types of student assessment in Japan. This is a positioning map of student assessments. The learning contexts have been researched by different categories. The horizontal axis expresses international, and the vertical axis expresses applied level. PISA has key features of international and applied level. Snapshot of performance in PISA. Japan is ranked second in mathematics performance and the first in both reading and science performance. These are estimable results. However, accompanying these are some hidden facts. There is less pleasure and interest in learning of mathematics. Some students at the highest level of reading proficiency are only advantaged in science. We have a problem to improve science education that combines mainly mathematics, reading, and science. Super Science High School's SSH project outline, chiefly to develop enriched curricula and cooperation with universities. Activities involve promoting the fostering of excellent human resources in science and technology. That is, education for excellence. Our project in Okayama University of Science High School. Major subjects of our school are education for gifted children based on cognitive individuality and talent, the promotion of cooperation and connection with universities, and 5 sub-project items and contents. 1. Enriched curriculum in science, technology, and mathematics. 2. Promotion of natural experiences and science activities. 3. Overseas exchange and science program. 4. Cooperation and connection with universities. 5. Evaluation of project and teaching activities. Hypothesis of research and development. We had a hypothesis at the beginning of the project that SSH programs will change student multi-intelligence levels. Everybody has 8 intelligences, according to Gardner's theory, of which 3 intelligences are necessary for science ability, that is, logical, mathematical, naturalistic, and linguistic intelligence. Enriched curricula in our school. We have set up 5 enriched curricula: science work, science English, data analysis, subject research for science, and lectures in university. We think these curricula combining the 3 intelligences. Science work. Integrate learning. We perform in 10th grade once a week. The purpose is cultivation of the power to hear, to investigate, to summarize, and to present. We perform lectures and study in group, making slides and presentation. science English. A native speaker teaches in English on fundamental scientific knowledge and power of presentation about nature topics in which a student is interested. Data analysis. Mathematics teacher guides how to make graphs and tables using PC software. Furthermore, the statistical analysis of data is guided. Subject research for science. The purpose is cultivation of subject discovery power, research power, and presentation power, and promoting experimental skills. A university teacher takes charge of experiments using laboratory equipment. Although the high school teacher is actively involved in this promotion. Research presentation is made 3 times according to the high school teacher's planning. Students are evaluated using rubric estimation by those performance. The timetable of SSH students for 3 years. From 10th grade to 12th grade, the red letters show SSH curricula. Students are busy in lessons. School life is from 9 o'clock a.m. to 16:12. Lectures in university are in 12th grade, and students are able to choose twice. The university authorizes lectures as well as university students by estimate of the same test. Additional program outside of curricula. Students choose programs and participate according to their interest. Science seminars are intensive study in university laboratory. One program was carried out at Tokyo University, and also natural science experience in the field, and promotion of science club activity that involved making presentations in the academic congress. Overseas program and exchange. The purpose is cultivation of internationalism and to promote exchange with foreign students. We carried out this program in Thailand, visiting schools and joining science lessons, which were enjoyed in 2 high schools in Bangkok, Bodhin School. We carried out this program. We carried out next year, planning a science camp with Thai teachers and high school students in association with Thai Nichi Institute of Technology. Cooperation and connection with universities. The purposes are understanding university life and learning style of students, to cultivate thinking power and practical use power, and to promote these powers. Connection in science education with universities to make future designs. These programs encourage communication among high school students and university students. Student assessment, check of self-efficacy. How to estimate SH project is assessed by using internal changes of students. Efficacy expectations arise in the heart before behavior, and the outcome will be demonstrated by their behavior. A person of high self-efficacy thinks, I am confident that I can do this task. We check students' self-efficacy using self-efficacy scale, Suzuki 1999, that consists of 12 check elements with 39 questions. Effects of SSH comparing to the profile of self-efficacy. SSH class and non-SSH class were same profile at 11th grade. However, at 12th grade, SSH students' red lines are expanding their power of effort was observed, as well as collaboration, global setting, evaluating, monitoring, planning, and regulating. Intelligence change of SSH class 10 to 12th grade. Comparison with contrast group, that's a black dot. The multiple intelligences for 3 years changed, moving in order of their grades, as confirmed by principal component analysis. The horizontal axis indicates scientific intelligence, including logical mathematics, naturalist, and linguistic intelligences. The vertical axis indicates strong association with interpersonal intelligence. SSH class changed down to up, promoting science intelligence and interpersonal intelligence. However, non-SSH class didn't extend science and interpersonal intelligences. Therefore, SSH students demonstrated high ability of science intelligence and interpersonal intelligences. Change of cognitive individuality, MI profile, 10 to 12th grade. An SSH student has increased intelligences of naturalist, intrapersonal, and spatial in total, while musical and body kinetic have decreased. On the other hand, a non-SSH student shows naturalist is noticeably less increased, and also 5 intelligences have decreased in total. Therefore, the educational effort of SSH is remarkable. Consideration. SSH project improved self-efficacy and cognitive individuality for scientific spirit, and noticeably affected logical, mathematical, and naturalistic intelligence. We found out interpersonal intelligence is basically necessary to promote the scientific spirit of students. It is important for collaboration with friends and teaching role to increase science ability. Summary. To promote the ability of science, curricular development, and 3 extra events based on multi-intelligences are effective to improve students' natural talents. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Takahashi. I'm pretty sure that we have a lot of questions for him afterward. Like said, please do not forget that you can write down the questions that you may have for our speakers, and we'll address them at the end of the presentations. Next is Dr. Han. He will come and share with us, and we heard that he will not sit down, he will stand up for this presentation. So let's hear from Dr. Han and his school.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't sit still for too long. Actually, as I respect all of you who can sit still for a whole day. Okay, first of all, thank you for having me here. When the organizer emailed me, he asked me to talk about how to improve scores in PISA framework. I told him I don't know how to do it because I'm not sure what PISA asked for. I've never taken a PISA test before. Right? So, but then my students have done well, so I just come and share with you what I'm doing in Singapore. Right? So what I will be talking about for the next 15 to 20 minutes is about how we prepare our students for the future. Right? So see whether it's useful to you. I'm not sure. Let's give you some data. This is a PISA ranking. Singapore has done quite well. We are always in the top 3. Right? This is for mathematics. Mathematics, I think Singapore ranks second. And my school is 695 points. We are always about 100 points above our national average. Reading, Singapore ranked third, 542 points. And my school, 647 points. For science, Singapore ranks third, 551, and my school ranks 667. Mathematics, there's also a computer-based assessment. Singapore ranked first. And again, my school 657. For reading, computer-based reading, Singapore ranked first as well. And for this, I'm very happy to see that we are more than 100 points, about 120 points above the best. So this is actually at the peak of the world. Give you a bit of background. Singapore is a small country, a small island country, 700 square kilometers only. Half of Bangkok, I think, maybe not even half of Bangkok. 5 million people, no natural resources. We have no oil, we have nothing, right? Our economic activities include finance, services, port, airport, high-tech industry, and petrochemical. You were wondering why we have no oil. How come petrochemical is an industry in Singapore? Because we buy oil, add values to it, and sell higher price. So that's how we survive. This is my school. Though my country is small, my school is quite big, 29 hectares. A typical school in Singapore is about 3 hectares. So that means my school is about 10 times a typical school in Singapore. Right. Give you a bit of background. We are founded 95 years ago. It's an independent school. Independent school is not a private school. Independent school is a government school. It's government-funded school. What the government does is they give us the money, but they give us the independence. They give us autonomy. I can use the money the way I want. They don't check on me. Good, huh? So I have 4,300 students over 6 level, 400 teachers. So the teacher-student ratio is about 1 to 11. And we take in students who are in the top 5% in the national cohort. Let me talk about our alumni. These are some of the successful alumni. This is the Chief of Defense Force. This is a former Chief of Army. This is a current Chief of Air Force. This is a former Chief of Navy. All of them are my students. So, here are the cabinet ministers. And we are very proud of this lady. She is an entrepreneur. She's a social scientist. She's the one who solved the water shortage problem in Singapore. You know, Singapore is a small country, so small that we don't have enough water for ourselves. So we have to import water from Malaysia. So from time to time, Malaysia say, you better behave, otherwise I'll cut your water supply. So we have to solve our own problem. Our Olivia Lam here, our alumni, solved the problem for Singapore by creating new water. And top here, this is a young man, 30 over years old. He is the latest director who won the Golden Horse Award. This is a young man who is very, very creative. We're very proud of him. So these are the alumni that we have. Right? The older alumni who have done very well. What about the younger alumni? The younger alumni are those in university or just finished a university. We track back in the last 5 years. We have about 21 alumni who have done very well in some of the top universities in the world. To gain into top university like Oxford, Cambridge, or Princeton, Yale is not easy. But to be the best student in those universities is amazing. So we're very proud of these people who have done so well in some of the best universities in the world. What is our mission? We don't claim to be able to do everything. We can only claim that we can do 3 things. We nurture leaders in research, industry, and government. And most importantly, to serve the nation. This is very important to us. Why do we nurture leaders? We nurture leaders to serve the nation. That is our mission, short and sweet. And this is our guiding principle, our holistic education model. There are 3 dimensions here: critical thinking, caring thinking, creative thinking. And we also want the student to have an entrepreneurial mindset to round up. In fact, we are guided by this book, 5 Minds for the Future by Howard Gardner. So we put these 5 minds under the 3 thinking model. Later on, I will talk about it one by one. Let me begin with this disciplined mind. Disciplined mind means how good a student is in a certain subject discipline. For example, students come to our school after the 2 years foundation. We allow them to choose the talent development programs that they want to go in. Those who like science, for example, they will join the science research program. Those who like humanities, they will join the humanities program. Those who like bicultural study or language elective or art elective, they will join those programs respectively. And all these are research-based. Right? So if it's science research, of course, they will do experimental research. They spend a lot of time in the science lab. And those who are interested in humanity research, they will do social science research. Right? And those who do bicultural studies, they are supposed to do social science research related to China. Right? So we know China is an emerging market, so we need to engage China. So you can see from here, science research will be leaders, it will lead to leaders in research. Humanities will be leaders in government, and the rest leaders in the industry. So we are very strategic in getting things done. Because we are small, we have limited resources, we can only do these 3 things well. Besides the usual curriculum that all of you understand, where they learn mathematics, sciences, and so on, here, this is the main difference. Right? We have this projects competition every year, and every year there are about 500 projects. Students are divided into groups of 4, and each group will choose a subject they want to do. They can either do experimental research, they can do non-experimental research, they can be involved in some invention, and so on and so forth. They are altogether 12 categories. So it's up to them to choose. They decide which one to choose. So the good ones, eventually we will help them to enter into national competition or inter-school competition or international competition. This is one example here. One group of the students, they did clean tech projects. So they enter into the finals of the international clean tech, and they were given a first prize. The prize money is quite good, $17,000 US. Very handsome, richer than me, right? So we also have students who did projects on water, right? Clean water. So, and they enter into Singapore Junior Water Prize competition, and they were the champion. So these are some of the examples, the kind of projects they do. They do it in school first, then they go into international level. All in all, we have accumulated 41 championship titles, right? 41 championship titles. This particular one is future problem solving, whereby they did service learning on aged, the problem of aging in Singapore, and they won the world championship. Now, besides sending students to different parts of the world to learn, we also bring in the best to Singapore, to our school, right? So that our students can learn from them. Every year, we host a science forum. We call it International Science Youth Forum. And every year, we invite about 5 to 10 Nobel scientists to come to Singapore. And our students will spend about a week with them, learning from them, their master classes, their research, and so on. So this is a very good experience, very inspirational for the students, right, for having gone through this forum. Let me talk about synthesizing mind. Now, you know, there are lots of information that you can get from internet, right? So what we do is, we want our students to learn how to put information together in a way that makes sense to themselves and it makes sense to other people. Let me give you an example. Recently, there is a riot in Hong Kong, demonstration in Hong Kong, am I right? So we asked a student to read information from our local newspaper. This is Chinese paper. We asked them to read BBC. BBC also report about this. We also asked them to read from China's CCTV. So having read the same news from 3 sources, they are able to tell the difference. Why BBC say something which is very different from CCTV? Why is it so different from Singapore's TV or Singapore's newspaper? So they see for themselves, actually the sources of information is important. The sources of information can give you different perspective. So their duty is learn from all this and then form their own opinion. Right or wrong, they decide. Our duty is to help them to make that decision. That's the reason why it could be, that's the reason why our students' reading ability is very, very high, especially reading using computer. Now, PISA only talk about critical thinking. You can see the tests they have, mathematics, sciences, reading, they're all about critical thinking. But I think it's my duty to caution all of you that if you only focus on critical thinking, you will not have holistic children. So therefore, I'd like to highlight this caring thinking component of our holistic education model. This caring thinking model has two components. One is ethical mind, the other one is respectful mind. Let me talk about respectful mind first. Respectful mind, essentially, we teach our students to respect other people's culture, to respect other people's way of doing things, to respect other people's view. We work with about 100 over partner schools in 16 countries. Let me give you two examples of how we work with them. For example, in Beijing, at the moment I have about 60 to 70 students in Beijing. They are there for a 6-week attachment. We have a Beijing satellite campus where students go there for 6 weeks. During this 6 weeks, they interact with people from Beijing. They visit all the museums. They attend lessons on the history, culture, and political science, and also economics. Right? So having gone through 6 weeks, they are supposed to do a thesis about what they have learned in China. So in fact, after 6 weeks, they know Beijing very, very well. This is one of the things that we learned from Beijing. Another example is about our collaboration with the United States Academy of Science in Virginia. Every year around November, we will send a team of about 12 students over to AOS. They will meet their friends in AOS, and they start talking about the science research project they want to do. So that is the initial stage. Later on, they'll fly back to Singapore. The students from both Singapore and United States will be collecting data from their respective laboratory. And come the following August, the Americans will come to Singapore to do a joint presentation. At the same time, they will go over to Malaysia for a cultural tour. So this is how learning is taking place in my school. Ethical mind, we have to keep reminding our students, we have to look after people. The reason why we groom them is because we want them to serve the nation. So these are some of the pictures they see where the students have a food drive to help 400 needy families. We also, in fact, encourage students to do something for our own servant in school. These are servants in school. They clean the school toilet, they clean the school compound. So our student leaders need to show appreciation. All right, so within the school, they organize tea party to thank them. So, 5 years ago, when we attained this award called Singapore Quality Award, this is the top award in Singapore for any organization. When we obtained this World Class Excellence Award, I was asked, what is our key performance indicator? I told them it's not about money, it's not about power, it is service. I give them this quote, however brilliant the student may be, the final measure of their real worth will be the contribution they can make to society. My last slide, let me show you this particular picture I like very, very much. This year we celebrated our 95th Founders Day concert. Right? So 6 months before the Founders Day, I gave a problem to my teachers and students. I say, we have 6 orchestra in the school, 3 in the junior high school, 3 in the senior high school, and I have 2 choirs. But I have never seen them working together before. Every year I have to attend about 6 to 8 concerts, because each orchestra has one public performance. I have to attend so many concerts. So I said, I'm very tired. So this year I want to see 1 concert only, all work together. But my teachers and students say, cannot. Chinese music cannot mix with Western music. All right? So they say, no. I say, nothing is impossible. Couldn't think about it, what to do. After 1 month, they came back and say, possible, can do. They say we have string orchestra, we have Chinese orchestra, we have band. Each one take 15 minutes, and then last one play a simple piece together. Okay, I say this is good progress, yeah, good progress. But eventually, they actually make it in such a way that they actually have a 1.5 hour concert using music to tell the history of Hwa Chong. So that is a very, very successful concert. So what is the key message here? My duty as a principal is not to solve their problem all the time. My duty as a principal is to give them problem, let them solve. Because when they solve problem, they learn. And in future, they can solve real-life problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Han, for showing us the inspiring example of a good education, not only for the betterment of the students, but for the betterment of the country as well. Next, last but not least, let's hear it from Dr. Arirat Watanatongpiu, and she will come and tell us about Badin Desha.
สวัสดีทุกท่านค่ะขออนุญาตพูดภาษาไทยนิดนึงว่าการบ้านวันนี้บอกว่าให้ใช้ภาษาอังกฤษแต่ตัวดิฉันเป็นผลผลิตประเทศไทยตั้งแต่ปริญญาตรีถึงปริญญาเอกดังนั้นก็ต้องขออนุญาตท่านว่าต้องทนฟังสำเนียงภาษาอังกฤษที่เป็นคนไทยนะคะค่ะโอเค Good morning บดินเดชา sorry ค่ะบดินเดชาสิงหะ School สิงหะเสนี School is founded on the 30th of April 1971. Bodhindesha Singha School is named after the great legend เจ้าพระยาบดินทร์เดชา the famous warrior of King Rama III of the Chakri dynasty. The school size is 39 rai and 368 square wa, donated by คุณหญิงนครราชเสนี or คุณหญิงเจือสิงหเสนี She is one of the great granddaughters of เจ้าพระยาบดินทร์เดชา We have 289 teachers and staff for 4,415 students. Our vision is to enhance study skills of students toward world-class standards based on moral and Thai cultures for happy lives. Mission: develop teaching learning process, manage teachers training programs, manage appropriate student activities for promoting moral, Thai cultures and happiness, and facilitate learning resources. The school motto is the students of Badin Desha are well behaved and knowledgeable ลูกบดินทร์เป็นผู้ประพฤติดีและมีความรู้ค่ะ I'd like to the management in our school is focused on participated management by the school management committees and school networks such as the Basic Educational School Commission, Parents and Teachers Association, Alumni Association, Parents Network, or Teachers Club, and others. Based on Thai society, which is simple and soft, the development of school education is gradual. However, we empower our students' study skills, reading, writing, critical thinking, and analysis, which depends on students' ability. I'd like to show some of examples of talent program in Badin Desha School. For the lower secondary student talent program, we have towards globalization classroom, or we call TGCs, for มัธยมศึกษา 1 and 2 and 3. This program is to develop students in English, mathematics, and science. And we have mathematics gifted classroom and science gifted classroom. For upper secondary student talent program, we have DPST, Developed and Promotion Science and Technology program. But the upper secondary students classroom is managed by the students' interest. Like we have science architect classroom, science engineering classroom, for example. Oh, sorry. This is activity with foreigner. Reward and recognition of Bodhindesha. We get gold medal in IMC, International Mathematics Contest from Singapore, gold medal in 2013, PEA Junior Women's Volleyball Championship, gold medal in 2014, Thailand Nation Junior Games, Sisakate Games, gold medal in the 10th International Science Olympiad in India, gold medal in the 13th Thailand Physics Olympiad. And we are proud that Mathayom Siksa 3 and 6 got the top mark in the Secondary Educational Service Area of Phase 2 on Ordinary National Education Test or ONET. Mathayom Siksa 5 got the top mark in the Secondary Educational Service Area of Phase 2 on Local Assessment System or LAS. And I'd like to end the presentation with our alumni who have success in their careers. I think no need to explain who they are because they are very well known in Thailand. Happiness in Bodhindesha. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. That was short and sweet. So that was the end of the presentation that was prepared by our speakers. We have agreed before we coming up on stage that we may not have prepared everything that you would like to hear. So we would need your help on this one. We would like to hear from you, the audience, what kind of questions that you would like to ask and our administrators up here. So with that, has anyone prepared any questions at all? No hands? Yes, please. Yes, I think there are microphones on the floor. Yeah. รบกวนเจ้าหน้าที่ช่วยเอาไมโครโฟนมาให้ท่านผู้ฟังหน่อยได้ไหมครับ มีคำถามนะฮะ อ๋อขอบคุณมากครับรบกวนเดินไปที่ไมโครโฟนเลยครับ ขอบคุณมากครับ
Thanks very much. Good morning. I'm Payupong Payuha from Jantrubik Sanuson School, Royal Province. The question from our friends. We would like three of you would have the strategy to lead the student to achieve this program to be the first of PISA or something. The strategy that we should have for our Thailand educational system. Thank you.
I speak in Japanese. Please translate. 学力を高めるということで、タイの学校と交流をさせていただいた。その経験から申し上げて、生徒同士が触れ合うことによって目が開くという部分があります。それによってモチベーションが上がります。世界の子どもたちが一生懸命勉強していると。で、将来何が必要なのかといったことが、タイに来て日本の、我が校の生徒がタイに来てそういったことに気づいて帰ると。そういう中で共有できる部分っていうのはやはり科学の勉強だと思います。サイエンスとかマセマティクスとかで違うという部分はカルチャーが違うと思います。 そういう共有できる部分と、異なった部分っていうものがお互いに、インターナショナルに、相互に勉強できれば一番素晴らしい、それが子どもたちを伸ばしていくんではないかと思っております。
ครับขออนุญาตแปลภาษาไทยนะครับเพื่อไม่เสียเวลานะครับครับนะฮะสำหรับอาจารย์จะเคยแลกเปลี่ยนนักศึกษากับโรงเรียนบดินทร์เดชาสิงหเสนีนะครับในเท่าที่ประสบการณ์ที่ผมแล้วนะฮะสำหรับ exchange เป็นมีแลกเปลี่ยนกับนักศึกษานะครับโครงการจะให้นักศึกษาทักษะแล้วกระตุ้นนักศึกษามากนะครับแล้วอยากจะให้นักศึกษาทั่วโลกนะฮะอยากแลกเปลี่ยนระหว่างนักศึกษามากกว่าเพราะว่าเมื่อมีแลกเปลี่ยนระหว่างนักศึกษานะฮะข้ามประเทศโครงการจะให้นักศึกษาที่รู้จักที่สิ่งที่ใหม่ด้วยแล้วกระตุ้นนักศึกษานะครับที่รู้จักสิ่งที่ใหม่แล้วให้นักศึกษาคิดเองทำเองด้วยแล้วเรื่องเกี่ยวกับกลยุทธ์เป็นแชร์กันนะฮะคิดว่าเป็นแชร์ความรู้ด้านวิทยาศาสตร์น่าจะทั่วโลกคงเหมือนกันนะฮะคงจะเป็นแชร์ความรู้ด้านวิทยาศาสตร์เป็นแชร์กันได้แต่ความแตกต่างด้านวัฒนธรรมระหว่างประเทศนะฮะความค่อนข้างมีความแตกต่างวัฒนธรรมนะฮะเมื่อนักเด็กนะฮะนักศึกษาสัมผัสวัฒนธรรมแต่ละประเทศนะฮะค่อนข้างจะเด็กมาเปิดตาเปิดใจนะฮะแล้วเป็นสิ่งที่ตกใจด้วยนะครับเพราะว่าวัฒนธรรมระหว่างประเทศแตกต่างกันซึ่งทำให้เป็นครูบาอาจารย์ถ้ามีโอกาสนะฮะอยากจะให้ข้ามประเทศแลกเปลี่ยนนักศึกษาระหว่างประเทศมากกว่าซึ่งทำให้นักศึกษาทำให้กระตุ้นนักศึกษานะครับขอบคุณครับ
I don't know what he say.
Would you like me to translate that first?
No, it's okay, don't worry. I can't understand him either. But I'm in no position to advise Thailand what to do, but I'd like to share with you a personal observation. I was born in Malaysia. I had my foundation years in Malaysia up to secondary school, and I moved to Singapore for university education, and since then I settled down in Singapore. Now, if I would compare Singapore to Malaysia, the only difference, the main difference between education system in Singapore and Malaysia is that Singapore use English as the medium of instruction, whereas Malaysia, they use Malay language as the medium of instruction. So at that point, when I need to choose my university, I decided that I should go to Singapore University so that I follow English education. I decided not to go to University of Malaya. I was given both, right? So I decided to go over to Singapore. So that is the main difference. 30 years down the road, I compared the two systems. Singapore University's ranking is among the world best now, whereas University of Malaya's the ranking is very, very far down. What's the reason? English. So that's my observation. I just want to share my observation. Yeah.
ขอนิดเดียวค่ะก็ต้องบอกว่าท่านที่ถามนะดิฉันจบจากโรงเรียนจันทรุเบกษาอนุสรณ์อำเภอเกษตรวิสัยจังหวัด101นะคะชื่นใจที่มีชาว101ถามด้วยภาษาอังกฤษแต่ขออนุญาตตอบภาษาไทยนิดนึงนะคะเพื่อความชัดเจนค่ะบังเอิญว่าท่านด็อกเตอร์ท่านนี้ได้เคยพานักเรียนไปทดลองไปร่วมมือในการทดลองทางวิทยาศาสตร์ที่โรงเรียนบดินทร์เดชาท่านก็จำได้ก็เลยเล่าเรื่องโรงเรียนบดินทร์เดชาคำถามที่ท่านบอกว่าอยากจะมีช่วยส่งเสริมกระตุ้นให้นักเรียนทำเรื่องข้อสอบใช่ไหมคะถ้าส่วนตัวดิฉันเคยเป็นครูมายาวนานก่อนที่จะเป็นผู้อำนวยการโรงเรียนเนี่ยดิฉันคิดว่าการกระตุ้นให้นักเรียนได้รู้จักถามแล้วคุณครูต้องบอกว่า encourage student to ask นะคะอย่าไปเบรกนักเรียนถามนี่ส่วนตัวนะคะอันที่หนึ่งคือเชียร์ให้นักเรียนถามมากๆและดิฉันชอบบอกคุณครูว่าตอบไม่ได้หรือตอบไม่ชัดอย่าเพิ่งตอบคุณครูต้องไปค้นคว้าความรู้แล้ววันรุ่งขึ้นหรือชั่วโมงถัดไปต้องมาบอกนักเรียนเลยว่าที่ลูกถามนี้คืออะไรถ้าเราเชียร์ให้นักเรียนถามมากๆเขาจะคิดนะคะเขาจะเป็นคนที่คิดนั่นคิดนี่ได้อีกเรื่องหนึ่งสำหรับวิชาวิทยาศาสตร์คือการทำแลบทำการทดลองคุณครูดิฉันเล่าว่าinteractive ที่ดีที่สุดคือนักเรียนต่อนักเรียนระหว่างทดลองเขามีคำถามเขาถามกันเขาจะโต้ตอบกันได้ดีกว่าที่ครูถามเขาอาจจะตื่นเต้นหรือเกรงที่จะตอบคำถามครูนี่ก็เป็นแนวคิดหนึ่งส่วนบดินทร์เดชาที่ดิฉันภาคภูมิใจมากเรามี กิจกรรมที่เป็นทุกคนต้องทำนะคะ 12-20 ชั่วโมงต่อ1คาบเรียนเราเรียกว่า classroom without walls classroom without walls ไม่ได้ขึ้นจอให้ดูนะคะก็แปลว่าคล้ายๆว่าเป็นใบงานหรือแบบฝึกอ่านแต่นักเรียนไม่ได้อ่านอย่างเดียวนักเรียนสามารถไปค้นคว้าความรู้จากแหล่งเรียนรู้ทุกที่จะเป็นอินเทอร์เน็ตเป็นคลิปเป็นอะไรได้หมดเลยเราก็เขียนว่าเขาคิดอะไรเขาเจออะไรเขาได้ความรู้อะไรแล้วคุณครูที่ปรึกษาหรือ advisor เนี่ยจะเป็นคนมาคอยเช็คเขาก็จะมาส่งคุณครูที่ปรึกษาว่าวันนี้เขาไปทำเรื่องนั้นเรื่องนี้มาอาจจะจากการถามผู้รู้จากแหล่งเรียนรู้ที่หลากหลายที่เขาสามารถหาได้เราก็เลยตั้งชื่อกิจกรรมนี้ซึ่งเป็นของเก่าของบดินทร์ไม่ใช่ดิฉันคิดขึ้นนะคะเขามีอยู่แล้วชื่อว่า Classroom without walls ถ้าท่านสนใจก็สามารถไปคุยกับท่านอาจารย์ได้นะคะนักเรียนทุกคนต้องทำ 12-20 คาบนอกเวลาเรียนไม่นับอยู่ในชั่วโมงเรียนค่ะขอบพระคุณค่ะด้วยเวลาอันจำกัดค่ะ
ขอบคุณครับท่านผอ.เมื่อกี้ผมเห็นท่านยกมือครับคำถามครับเชิญเลยครับท่านอ๋อไปเก็บคำถามได้ไหมฮะเจ้าหน้าที่นะฮะครับเชิญครับอาจารย์
This lady.
So, good morning. I am Sawanit, an educator. So, due to the first question, my question is addressed to Dr. Takahashi and Dr. Adunrat. So, as I know, you have an exchange program together. Could you please tell us what kind of activities have you done together, and what is the result of the achievement due to the exchange program? Thank you.
Really? พี่สาวนิชสวัสดีค่ะดร.สาวนิชนะคะขอบพระคุณที่ให้เกียรตินึกว่าจะถามดร.ฮอนค่ะ exchange program จริงๆท่านเลขานี่มีนโยบายแล้วนะคะว่า beyond ในประเทศไทยแล้วนะคะว่าต้องให้เราไปแลกเปลี่ยนเรียนรู้กับต่างประเทศทำ MOU สำหรับบดินทร์เดชาถ้าแบบไม่เต็มรูปแบบเรามีเยอะมากทั้งญี่ปุ่นที่ของท่านดร.ท่านนี้นะคะแต่ที่เราเต็มรูปแบบคือดาลี่เขาเรียกว่า Dali number 1 secondary school ที่ต้าหลีนะคะที่ต้าหลีซึ่งเป็นโรงเรียนถ้าเทียบก็คือเตรียมอุดมศึกษาอันนี้คือโรงเรียนบดินทร์เดชาแค่แลกเปลี่ยนเขามาเยี่ยมเราประมาณ10วันเราไปเยี่ยมเขา10วันแต่สิ่งที่นักเรียนเห็นคือเขาเรียกว่าพฤติกรรมในการเรียนรู้ซึ่งดิฉันจะมาเล่าให้นักเรียนฟังตลอดว่านักเรียนจีนนี้ถ้าภาษาบ้านเราเรียกว่าโคตรขยันเลยนะคะในโต๊ะเรียนจะตั้งเราแลกเปลี่ยนด้วยการให้นักเรียนเราไปเห็นวัฒนธรรมว่าถ้าลูกอยากประสบความสำเร็จนอกจากจะมีความสุขอย่างเดียวเนี่ยลูกก็ต้องมีวิชาความรู้ด้วยนะคะแล้วส่วนโปรแกรมอื่นก็คือบดินทร์นี้เราถ้าไม่ทราบพี่ถามเรื่องบดินทร์หรือเปล่านะคะบดินทร์เนี่ยเราหลากหลายเรามีอย่างเมื่อวานนี้ก็มีจีนที่มาแข่งมาซ้อมวอลเลย์บอลทีมชาติอย่างที่รูปที่ปลื้มจิตเนี่ยเป็นนักกีฬาทีมชาติที่เป็นผลผลิตของบดินทร์เดชาอย่างนี้ค่ะคือก็ต้องบอกว่าถ้าถามตัวดิฉันเองคิดว่าการแลกเปลี่ยนเรียนรู้อย่าจำกัดด้วยอะไรด้วยสาเหตุอะไรด้วยวิชาการด้วยประเทศด้วยอะไรแต่สำหรับประเทศไทยนะคะที่ท่านดร.ฮอนพูดก็คือที่ดิฉันเอามาเปรียบเปรยก็คือภาษาอังกฤษเนี่ยต้องบอกว่าเป็นวิชาที่เราทิ้งไม่ได้เลยเราจะมันเป็นสื่อที่เราจะก้าวไปสู่ข้างหน้าถ้าถามนะคะพี่สาวนิชก็สามารถสนับสนุนกระทรวงศึกษาธิการให้ส่งเสริมให้โรงเรียนในประเทศไทยไปทำ MOU กับต่างประเทศเยอะๆนะคะแต่ตอนนี้เราถูกห้ามไปต่างประเทศนะคะขอบพระคุณค่ะ
My question is that we would like to know what kind of activities อย่างเช่นเพราะว่าทราบว่าใน in Thailand actually we have many exchange program among school in overseas so we would like to know what are you doing first we send some student to the network school and what kind of activity 3 weeks attend the classroom something like that for that we can know what you have done and maybe it can be the sample of the exchange program because due to the presentation of Dr. Takahashi it's very fruitful for school director นะคะก็คืออยากจะทราบว่า มีกิจกรรมอะไรบ้างเพื่อที่คือพี่เป็นคนนอกแล้วนะว่าไปก็คืออยากจะทราบว่าหนึ่งเมื่อเราทำ exchange program แล้วไม่เพียงแต่ไปดู just take a look no แต่หนึ่งส่งเด็กไปกี่สัปดาห์ให้เด็กได้เข้าไปอยู่ในชั้นเรียนถ้าอย่างนี้แล้วก็ excellent นะคะคืออยากทราบเพราะว่าตอนนี้มี executive ของโรงเรียนหลายๆท่านอย่างเงี้ยค่ะ so if you want me to speak in English please tell me โอเคค่ะ
Thank you for your question. For example, in my school, I speak Japanese. 生徒同士を伸ばすということが最も重要です。教師は教えるだけで、それはトラディショナルなやり方ですけど、私が実践してみて思うのはグループですね。グループで学習活動をすることで生徒同士の教え合いが発生します。それで子どもたちが変わるということが起こります。で、具体的なテーマが必要です。それは例えば私の町の岡山がこれから良くなっていくためにはどんなことをしたらいいですかという具体的な提案をアイデアを子どもたちから出してもらう。それをグループで調べ活動をしプレゼンテーションをするという活動をしております。それをベースにして次ステップアップとしては課題研究ということで科学や数学における自分たちが研究したいことを見つけて1年間あるいは2年間やっていくということをしております。それによって生徒自身の中に教え合うものが出てくるということが大きな学力を伸ばす動員になると思っています。ただ我が校の狙いとして MI プロフィールこれをうまく使いたいんですけども、生徒はプライベートなものですから MI プロフィールが明らかになっていくことをまだ怖がっているという面があります。非常にパーソナリティをどう捉えるかっていうのはとても難しいことだと思うんですが、お互いにパーソナリティを認めた上でグルーピングがもしできていくならばより大きな発展学力向上につながると思っています。
ครับแปลสั้นๆนะครับอาจารย์บอกว่าสิ่งที่สำคัญที่สุดคือระหว่างนักศึกษาต้นสอนเรียนนะฮะวิธีการเรียนวิธีการสอนโดยที่ระหว่างนักศึกษานะฮะสอนการเองเรียนการเองซึ่งเป็นอันที่สำคัญมากกว่านะครับเพราะว่าอาจารย์จริงๆแล้วซึ่งเป็นคนหนึ่งสอนหนังสือและสอนวิชาแต่จริงๆแล้วคนเรียนเป็นนักศึกษาเองอยากจะให้นักศึกษาเองนะฮะทำเป็นกลุ่มนะฮะโครงการเป็นกลุ่มกิจกรรมเป็นกลุ่มนะฮะโครงการมีประโยชน์ให้กับพัฒนานักศึกษามากกว่านะฮะอยากจะให้อาจารย์ช่วยพิจารณาว่านะฮะตั้งกลุ่มก่อนแล้วแนะนำการเรียนการสอนโดยที่พัฒนาโดยที่ระหว่างนักศึกษามากกว่าถ้าอย่างนั้นอยากจะให้นักศึกษาสอนเองเรียนเองทำยังไงก็ต้องมีหัวข้อนะฮะต้องมีเทมานะฮะต้องมีหัวข้อเรียนtopics นะฮะเช่นอาจารย์ของท่านอาจารย์ท่านนะฮะจะหัวข้อเกี่ยวกับให้พัฒนาเมืองโอกายามะทำยังไงจึงจะให้พัฒนามากกว่านี้เพราะว่าอาจารย์อยู่ที่โรงเรียนจังหวัดโอกายามะค่อนข้างจะอยู่ไกลจากเมืองหลวงก็เลยอยากจะให้กลุ่มนักศึกษาคิดว่าจะพัฒนาบ้านเมืองของเราต้องมีวิธีอะไรบ้างต้องแก้ปัญหาท้องถิ่นของเราต้องมีอะไรบ้างนะฮะอยากจะให้นักศึกษาออกไอเดียออกความคิดเองนะฮะเรียกว่าเป็น presentation ด้วยเมื่อ presentation เสร็จแล้วนะฮะอยากจะให้พัฒนามากกว่านี้อยากจะให้นักศึกษาค้นขวาหรือว่าวิจัย วิจัยของวิชาการวิจัยฐานวิชาการเองด้วยนะครับเพราะว่าเมื่อ presentation เสร็จแล้วโปรดตำรานะฮะแล้วก็หรือว่าทำอาจารย์ก็ได้ต้องมีข้อปัญหาที่นักศึกษาหาเองนะฮะไม่ใช่ว่าอาจารย์ให้ปัญหาแล้วก็นักศึกษาแก้ปัญหาเองคงจะไม่ใช่ให้นักศึกษาคงหาเป็นปัญหาเองแล้วก็นักศึกษาคงหาเป็นแก้ไขคำตอบเองนะครับอันนี้ซึ่งเป็นโครงการจะมีนักศึกษาจะพัฒนาเยอะนะครับแล้วอาจารย์ที่ปัจจัยที่ MI ทำยังไงถึงจะให้ MI นะครับเพราะว่าคำว่า personality นะฮะแต่ละคนค่อนข้างจะมีแตกต่างกันมากนะฮะทำยังไงถึงจะ MI ต้องเป็นบูรณาการที่จะวิธีการเรียนการสอนกับเป็น personality แต่ละคนช่วยคิดด้วยนะครับขอบคุณครับ
ครับขอบคุณมากครับ Thank you very much Dr. Takahashi I think we only have time for 2 more questions and this one is addressed specifically to Singapore how to teach students the concept of TLLM and how do you make it practical for the school
Okay, TLLM stands for Teach Less Learn More, right? Teach Less Learn More. It's an initiative launched more than 10 years ago. It's not a new initiative. It's by our former Prime Minister, in fact. Yeah. So how do we do it? Yeah, over the past 10 years, we have been trying different ways, and the focus is shifting from teaching to learning. Right? Let me give you an example. There's a pedagogy called just-in-time learning. What we do is our teachers will put their curriculum, their resources on the internet. Right? It can be in the form of video, it can be in the form of PowerPoint, it can be in the form of e-books, and so it doesn't matter. So we want our students to, before the lesson, the night before or 2 days before, go on the internet and read those resources. At the same time, after reading resources, there's a simple test to test their conceptual understanding, whether they understand those things or not, right? So the teachers will go online to look at how they perform in the test. All those marks are not important. They want to know whether the students have learned the main concept. So when they come to lesson, our typical lesson is about 1 hour. The first 10 minutes, the teachers will use it to talk about some of the conceptual error that the students have made. Right? At the same time, within the class, they are divided into small groups. Every group, there are some students with high ability, some are average. So things that we want the high ability student to teach the average student, the teacher can give them time to do so. They can be given 10-15 minutes just to clarify those simple concepts that the average student may not understand, but the high ability student can understand. Right? So there are lots of discussion during lesson. Right? After that, Q&A. There are a lot of question and answering within the classroom. So usually the teachers will take about the last 10-15 minutes to do a conclusion. So after that, the students are asked to go online again to talk about what they have learned. So from there, everyone learns from one another. So that is peer learning. So that kind of lesson is highly engaging. But of course, we cannot do it too frequently because the student will not be able to cope. If every subject teacher were to ask the student to go online to read before they come to class, they have no life. So we do some coordination. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now let's go back to the presentation just a little bit because this morning we have seen in the PowerPoint from all the schools that there are a lot of activities and projects that is going on in the school for the betterment of the teaching and learning. Of course, everyone in here is curious about the financial support. Where does it come from? And some of the audience have asked the questions whether or not the financial autonomy is real in Singapore. So we would like to hear
Singapore
from you.
Again, okay.
Yes.
Yes, our government is very fair. They know how much money is put into secondary school. Right? Every student, I think the amount of money that government invests in them is around 15,000 Sing dollar. Right? So what they do is, if I have 4,300 students multiplied by 15,000, this amount of money is given to me. Right? So I manage this fund. I use it to pay my teachers. I use it to buy resources and so on. The only difference is if I want to build a new building, that's different. Then I have to write in to get permission to have more funding to build buildings. But usually government will not give you 100%. Right? Our government will give you 80%, 90%, depending on the kind of building you want. So I will have to approach my alumni to donate money so that we can have whatever resources we want. Give you an example, we have a research science lab. A research lab is different from an ordinary science practical lab. So this is actually as good as university research laboratories. Why do we have it? Because we want to save our students time to travel from school to university. In the past, our students got to go to university before they can do cutting-edge research. But now they can do it in-house in our own school, and we employ our full-time scientists to look after them. So this is something that we can do. The amount of money that government give us is about 70% of my budget. The other 30% come from school fees. So my school fees is slightly higher than the ordinary government school fees. But it's also controlled by ministry. Right? If you want to increase school fees, I must get the permission from the minister. Right? So otherwise, you find that they have a problem. Yeah. So if you still need more money, my alumni will donate. So I have one old boy here. Right? So if you have no money, I'll go to him. He will donate money to me. Right?
Thank you. One last mini question, just for curiosity's sake. Any dropouts in Singapore and in Japan? Are dropouts a big problem?
Okay, I can only talk about my school. Okay, my school we don't have dropout. What we do is this is a 6 years program. In Singapore, actually, there are about 10 schools who have this program. 6 years, they are exempted from O-level. Ordinary government school have to prepare students for 4 years for O-level exam. Those who have done well go on to another 2 years of pre-university. They will do A-level, and after that, they go to university. But for my students, they don't have to take O-level because they are already very good. So we don't need to test them again at the end of year 4. But see, in the course of doing so, you will find that, hey, there are people who are distracted. Maybe their family have been having problems. Sometimes parents getting divorced and so on. So there are people, right? 2 to 3% of a student have that kind of problem. So what we do is we will prepare them for O-level. Because when they are distracted, they will not be able to do well in A-level because A-level is just too difficult for them. So what we do is we have one small class to look after them for O-level. And usually O-level is very simple. They can do it easily without much difficulty. So once you prepare them for O-level, they pass their O-level, they decide whether they want to go on to the junior college or to polytechnic or wherever. So they think that they will go on in life. So they are not considered dropout because they passed the exam. Yeah.
Right. That's different. Yeah. What about Japan? Yeah. มีเด็กออกกลางคันไหมแบบเรียนไม่จบ
ドロップアウトですね。まず学校として最大限カバーをしますけども、その生徒が異なった方向を希望している場合はその方向への次の学校を紹介するということで対応します。簡単にはやっぱり学校をカットすることはしないで、次のステップをどうするかということの提案をしながら指導していくというような体制をとっています。
อาจารย์ท่านมีเหมือนกันนะประเทศญี่ปุ่นก็มีเด็กที่จะอ้างขอลาออกจากโรงเรียนมีเหมือนกันนะครับแต่อาจารย์ที่แนะนำว่าไม่ให้ลาออกจากโรงเรียนง่ายๆนะครับถามว่าลาออกอยากจะออกทำไมนะฮะอยากจะออกเด็กจะอ้างเหตุผลนี้เสร็จแล้วอยากจะให้ครูบาอาจารย์นะฮะชี้แจงแนะนำนะฮะอธิบายให้เด็กฟังว่าคุณอยากจะทำอะไรเสร็จแล้วต้องมีแนะนำการสเต็ปแต่ละนักศึกษาต่อไปนะฮะถ้าไม่ใช่โรงเรียนอยู่นี้ก็ไม่แฮปปี้นะฮะอาจารย์จะพยายามที่จะหาที่ next step ที่นักศึกษาที่จะทางแฮปปี้นะฮะโครงการที่จะต้องเทราเคสไม่ใช่ง่ายนักแต่อาจารย์อยากจะหาดูกับนักศึกษาเป็นสเต็ปต่อไปนะครับ
Thank you very much, Dr. Takahashi. Now we have come to the end of the session. Any last word from any one of you as far as the topic goes?
I'm hungry. กินข้าว
Any last word?
Thank you, everybody. I study about the Thailand education system. It's a very supportable, very excellent educational system. Have, for example, boarding lecture. That's a very supportable Japanese students. Thank you.
ขอบคุณครับ thank you อาจารย์อาริรัตน์ครับ
จริงๆนักเรียนไทยเราบอกว่าขอดีมีความสุขดีแล้วก็มีความสุขแล้วก็เก่งโรงเรียนบดินทร์ก็แบบนั้นแหละค่ะเน้นให้มีความสุขตะกี้พูดเรื่อง drop out บดินทร์ก็ไม่ใช่ไม่มีนะคะอย่างม.6 ปีนี้เราคาดว่าจะมี1คนเพราะว่าเธอไม่กลับมาแก้ศูนย์เลยอย่างนี้ drop out คือนักเรียนที่ออกกลางคันมีเหมือนกันนะคะเพราะเรามีนโยบายใกล้บ้านที่นักเรียนใกล้บ้านจับฉลากอย่างนี้ค่ะอันนั้นอาจจะเป็นส่วนหนึ่งก็กลับขอบพระคุณวันนี้ที่ทุกท่านให้เกียรตินั่งฟังแม้เวลาจะเลยนะคะขอบพระคุณค่ะ
ครับขอบคุณครับ Thank you very much all the panelists for your kind contribution this morning and thank you everyone for your kind attention. This is the end of the panel discussion this morning. Have a good lunch and we'll come back and see you again this afternoon. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณครับ